How's it going?
I'm good, Vijay. Good. I'm sorry, you still go by Vijay, right? I guess I could call you
Yeah, that's
Vishwajit.
correct. That's correct. That's correct. You can call me Vishwajit. That's really good. But else you can call me VJ. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Good, good. Thank you, man. Sorry for being late a bit.
It's all right. It's all
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah. And
meanwhile,
I
the
have a hard start. I had a hard stop at 9:30 my time. I got 45 minutes, so we can kind of run through it. What do you think?
sure, sure, sure,
Okay.
sure, sure. I think yeah, we can go ahead and talk a little bit about our slides, and maybe the team can show you what slides they have made. The slide deck is not yet completed, but
That's
still they
okay.
can walk you through, and we can take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they are sharing. I just wanted to confirm, like, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Like Bhuvan, I'm sure, but for your last name,
Boyan. I go by Boyan. Boyan Tyagarajan is my name.
Bhuvan. Okay, Bhuvan
Boyan.
Tyagarajan.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tyagarajan. Yeah. I'm from Chennai, South India, but yeah,
Yeah,
Boyan
yeah, yeah.
Tyagarajan.
All right. Okay.
You wonder why the name is weird, but the name is from a North Indian name, so that's the name I have. But it's kind of weird name, but that's what it is.
Okay. All right. I think, are you able to see the
Yeah,
screen that the team has
yeah.
shared?
I am seeing a slide which says what Dreamforce means for fintech leaders. Yes.
Yes. So this is the deck that the team has prepared, and I think we will be utilizing this in our webinar itself only. And
Mhm.
this structure we would be following. So we would be following this, end to end, and then you can give your own feedback and comments over here. And I think initial beginning I would be setting the stage. I would be introducing myself, and then you, and then a little bit
Mhm.
about you, and then we will jump on to the agenda of the session, and then we will
Mhm.
do a deep dive into the slides that we have. So this is the forward looking statement that we would be stating, specifying that no purchasing or buying decision should be made basis only onto the content that we are showing over here. It's for educational purposes, and they need to reach out to the Salesforce and talk to their AE before making a purchase. So that is
Yeah.
that. And then it's a little bit about us. I will be covering that, no issues about that. And then next, I would be introducing myself. My name is Vishwajit Srivastav. You can call me VJ. I'm the CTO and co-founder at Syntexa. And then today
Mhm.
we have our guest, Bhuvan Tyagarajan, principal EganX. He has been into the Salesforce ecosystem for more than 15 years. So I would like to welcome him. So Bhuvan, I think I would be handing it over to you so that you can talk
Yeah.
through a little bit
Introduce
about
myself.
yourself. So
Yeah.
if you want to go ahead
Yeah.
and
So
do
I'll
that.
just do a quick introduction. So thank you again, Vijay, for the introduction. So my name is Boyan Tyagarajan. I live in Delaware at the moment. I'm a Salesforce MVP architect, currently a principal at IgonX. I'm a guy to describe myself. I'm a guy who takes big picture thinking and make people sleep. That's how I describe myself. So I'm an architect, and hopefully, the outcome of this session is of value to you.
That's great to know you, Bhuvan. So, all right, I think we will be moving to the agenda. So today's agenda is a jam packed. We are going to talk about what Dreamforce means for fintech leaders, and how it's going to impact you, and how things might be at the Dreamforce. So first of all, we need to talk about the shift towards the agentic enterprise. Then we will talk about Dreamforce 2026, the agentic enterprise, what Salesforce has in the picture, and what things might be there. And then we will be talking about why this matters for fintech. And then we will be looking at as a glimpse of what the market looks like right now for transforming fintech with AI. And then we will be talking about where AI, agentic AI, is already doing some innovations into the financial services. And I think we would be hearing some great feedback and some great insights from Bhuvan, since he has been an expert into that. And then additionally, we will be talking about how Salesforce secures the agentic enterprise. And we will be walking through you guys, what all things are there, how it can be utilized. And Bhuvan will be sharing his, a specific diagram, which kind of gives you the complete picture of what to use, when to use. And then we will be showing you Charge On, basically an application that might assist you in your fintech journey, handling payments and everything. And then we will be talking about some of the frictions that happens into the payments and how Charge On can help you out. And then we will see some of the examples, and then we will wrap and summarize the key takeaways from the fintech and how it's going to be evolving with the Dreamforce 2026. So without further ado, I think we will move to the next slide, which is shift towards the agentic enterprise. So businesses for the past decade have been, working with fragmented data, and their primary aim has been to connect the data and then utilize it for their actions. But with the help of AI, that challenge is now being overshadowed with the new challenge that is coming into the picture, which is accessing the data into the right place, into the right way. So allowing AI to, take actions for you, allowing AI to take actions for your business processes, letting it run. And this kind of need requires data, application, workflows, and AI agents to work on top of them itself only. And over here, we are going to, kind of show you how Salesforce is positioning itself and how in Dreamforce we might see some of the new announcements here as well. So with that, I think I will hand it over to Bjorn. Bjorn, do you have some, insights on this, how you see the shift toward agentic enterprise is happening right now?
Thank you, Vijay. So yes, obviously, with the explosion of LLMs in the last 3 years, now every enterprise is kind of thinking about, how do they position themselves to leverage this LLM, explosion. So what's happening with all enterprises, mid-sized companies right now, the big insight or the big shift has been unstructured data. So prior to this, I mean, all organizations had structured data. They had their databases, they had warehouses, they had everything possible, and they were using, predictive analytics. With the contextual change, with LLMs bringing in unstructured data and bringing in insights, the big shift now is how do organizations leverage their unstructured data, which is in siloed, as you talked about, in SharePoint files, in Salesforce, in case notes, and all over the systems. How do you bring those unstructured data to the customer and provide a seamless experience? That's a big shift. So the world is moving towards more agents now, and that's what we're going to talk about. Thank you, Vijay, for that.
Yeah, thanks. I think, yeah, with that said, I think let's move to, the next slide, which is, talks about, Dreamforce and agentic enterprise, as you mentioned, Bjorn. So, like how things are evolving and how, unstructured data is there and how things are being required to utilize that unstructured data, that disconnected data in an effective way to allow fintech organizations to, utilize that data and build automations on top of it, build agentic enterprise on top of it. And Dreamforce is kind of, announcing the Dreamforce, being the, I would say, the key, I would say, event of Salesforce, where they would be announcing some new capabilities, new functionalities. Agentforce Coworker, new updates might be there. Some governance layer updates might be there. And some, I would say, enhancements to the way the things work will be there as well. And that will really affect us a lot. So in that over itself, only, Salesforce has been building towards the shift of, agentic enterprise, where AI can resonate, collaborate, and take actions across business workflows, as we saw with Agentforce Coworker as well, that was announced few months back. I would say few weeks back. It's been like 10, 12 weeks itself only. And then Dreamforce would be announcing some more capabilities, some more functionalities around there itself only. And I think what you said, Bhuyan, we would be seeing some great enhancements to how we can use that unstructured data and how we can use that disconnected data from various systems in an effective manner. That is something that we are going to see in the Dreamforce. What do you think? How do you feel the same, or do you have some other inputs as well? Where we might be seeing Dreamforce evolving and giving us some more functionality, some more capabilities.
Yep. Thank you, Vijay. So as you all know, I'm sure, all as an IT leader or as an architect or an admin in a financial service company, for the last 2, 3 years, you've seen this explosion of agents all over the place. And obviously Salesforce is a big kahuna, right? I mean, they're marketing engine at the end of the day. So as you approach Dreamforce, the question comes down to, obviously, as Vijay, you talked about, there's going to be products, right? Agentforce, Data Cloud, and all those products come in. But the question comes down to, for your financial service organization, what makes sense to you? So that's the way I would approach it. So when you go, obviously, with Dreamforce in the next month, a couple of things to think about. One, with Salesforce, it's on your front end of your organization. That's a core CRM. You already might have a Microsoft site. You also might have, your core banking systems and all that. The question you need to ask is, how do I leverage Salesforce to answer my customer questions, right? So with the unstructured data in Salesforce, what products can help? That's number one. And second, you also have to think about strategically and tactically. Strategically is go attend the Dreamforce sessions, which are more strategic from an architecture standpoint, the big picture. That's one thing I will advise. And then attend one tactical session as part of it. That would be my advice as part of Dreamforce 2026. I'm not going to talk about products because you're going to see that and hear it a lot, but that's what to take away from this. Thank you, Vijay. Over to you.
Yeah. That really matters. And I think, why this matters for fintech is, you have covered that on a bigger level. I think on a deeper level, there are a few more things that they have to kind of focus on. Now, that question might change from business to business itself only. As we can see in the next slide, the things are going to change for that. You will have to understand where you are going to let AI do the things for you and where you want to keep the control. And if you are keeping the control or if you are giving away the control, you need to be able to identify, is the AI going to do the same thing always the same way itself only? Is there a guardrail for that? Is there a way to audit that? Is there a way to kill that? If I don't want it to happen, is there a way I can stop it quickly itself only? And we need to identify that, because AI adoption is happening into the fintech industry, as the number shows, which we'll be seeing over here as well in the next slide as well. There are 52% financial services which are already piloting or have either deployed agentic AI into their workflows, into their business processes itself only. Now, as a business leader, as a fintech leader, we have to identify what's going to work out for us, what's going to not work out for us. And that is the key thing, as you said, identifying from all of that jargon or all of that, I would say bombardment of knowledge that you would be seeing at Dreamforce, identifying what's the right sessions for me, what's the right features for me or for my business use cases that I'm handling. So that is going to be the real thing that is going to assist you and help you in all of those things. Those things could be from the transactions itself only, from the KYC itself only, from the back office itself only, could be the service side as well. There could be many areas where you might see it fit. Talking about the numbers itself only, if you look at the next slide, I think over there we have some, specific numbers, and these numbers truly paint a picture. Instead of us hearing that AI is going to change the world, AI is, making a change, and we are seeing some things into the picture. Nothing paints that picture clearly than numbers, and the numbers are clear. 15.7 billion, projected growth from 2025, we would be seeing to 79.6 billion by the end of 2036, and that is representing a CAGR of 15.9%. And then, as Stripe showed, that 91% of financial institutions now use AI in some form. And those numbers are there, and those numbers are derived from the, actual business utilizations itself only. And those gives us more clarity how businesses, especially in financial, are utilizing it for payments, fraud detection, credit risk, compliance, customer operations as well. And there are many more things as well that we might not be able to cover in this single slide itself only. So I think there are a lot of things to, work into that, look into that. I think beyond, you will also have some great insights about how the market is utilizing AI in terms of fintech, in terms of, other things as well. Share to, thoughts as well. I want to hear your thoughts as well on the same thing.
Thank you, Vijay. I mean, the trends are very clear, right? I'm sure, every IT leader or every architect and admin have heard enough of this AI agents, and you are experimenting with it. And I'm sure you're also, the purse is tightened now with a lot of people, overspending on tokens. I mean, that's a trend you're seeing as well. But what does it mean really where the market is heading? I mean, the numbers are the numbers. And at the end of the day, the question comes down to how do you leverage this for the better two things, right? One, reducing your cost for a financial service organization. Compliance is important. You're talking about financial data. I'll cover that a little bit more deeper in the next couple of slides. So how do you ensure that your agents are talking to you securely? They have the right access to data. That's number one. That's what most of the financial service companies are looking at. Secondly, what kind of tools can I use to leverage for my agents, which is across the enterprise, not just from a CRM alone. So that's another trend I'm also saying. And third, how do you differentiate yourself from a business standpoint using, the Gen AI services and provide a differentiated service to my customers, whether it's my, bank customers or it's my insurance policy holders? How do I do that? So that's the strategic thinking between the lines of every C-level leader at this point. Thank you, Vijay. We can go to the next one if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for the next one, I think I will, tag you in into it or tap you in into itself only. I think it would be great if you can walk through, how the enterprise agentic architecture looks like for financial services, where things land. So if you can move on to the next slide, and I will,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Vijay. So, as I said before, as an architect or as an admin or an IT leader, it's important to look at your stack, right? I mean, if you look at this picture here, there's a couple of product suites here. Every business organization, let's say it's a bank, an insurance company, at the core, you have a couple of systems in place. You have to look at it as a system level, not at the individual product level. Now, if you look at it, one, couple of things have changed, right, as part of the journey. Now, at the lower end of it, you have your LLMs. It could be anything, right? It can be from, ChatGPT to Cloud and all that. The system of context is a new thing which is emerging. And why does it matter? I mean, now in the Salesforce world, you could call it Data Cloud. Now it's Data 360. Tomorrow, we don't know what Salesforce would call, but that's what it is for now. But the point is that if your agents are going to have meaningful conversation with your customers, with your employees, it's important to provide that contextual data, which is unstructured data. So that's why you got to think about that as a system of context. Now, that could be only a couple of systems. It cannot be just Data Cloud alone. It could be your, SharePoint folder, or it could be your core. The next piece of way to think about is where systems you are corely engaged in. For a banking organization, the core, that's where your financial transactions are. And every, it also has a lot of credit card, your business accounts and all that. The second thing, if you look at it from an insurance company, the core policy management system, that's your core system. So those core systems are the key, and that's where the back end of your organization works. That's why I call that system of work. Now, let's talk about how do we expose the systems of work and the system of context to the next level, which is your customers and employees. Your customers and employees are going to be interacting with this data on different systems or channels, right, which I call systems of engagement. Now, you could talk about from a banking standpoint, like a customer, who has a customer portal, looking at his transactions and running simple reports. That's number one. Or looking into products. How do I apply for a loan? How do I apply for a mortgage? So that's your customer side of it. For insurance company, it could be policies, right? What's the status of my policies? What's the status of my claim? So as an architect, as you look at this from an enterprise standpoint, you got to think big picture. What does it mean? It's two simple things. Do not just go into each and individual product. Think about the enterprise architecture stack as systems. Divide your systems into these 4 or 5 layers. Think about systems of context, which matters to your agents. That's why it's at the bottom. And the second piece is how do you connect all this data to that system of context and then expose this to the agents, to the customers. So this is the big picture thinking every architect, every admin, and every IT leader should have before you talk to your business on purchasing a product. Thank you, Vijay.
Yeah, that's a really great, explanation. And that's a really great way to understand how everything will come together. Either it's already there for you if you're utilizing it. If you aren't having it and you are thinking on how should I do it, this is a complete, a landscape picture which gives you at a glance like how it needs to work, what all things I need to work at, how I need to connect the data from all the places where the execution will be happening. And it's not only limited to, Salesforce itself only, as you have in the diagram as well that Guyan just explained, like you can connect your other places as well. You might be utilizing, Microsoft Dynamics, you might be utilizing, let's say, ServiceNow for some scenarios, SAP for some scenarios. We can utilize that as well. It all that matters is that you would be able to connect and utilize all of the stack itself only to serve your customers, to provide your business automations and let agentic AI help you and assist you do things faster and with much more flexibility rather than you switching from one platform to the other platform. Everything being taken care from the single stack itself only that would be possible with this.
Yep.
I think on the next slide itself only, I think it's a high-level summarization of what you just said. Like there are 4 layers that works together: engagement, agency, work, and context, from where you can do whatever you want to do. And then we have shared trust layer. And at Dreamforce this year, we would be seeing some great enhancements to that with more granular level, visibility into what AI is doing, how it is doing, how Agentforce is doing that. If you have automated anything with the help of AI, you would be able to view that as well. And then, you would be able to view some how agents operate within that architecture, what all things they are able to act on, how they can act on, whether it's audit or not audited, things like that. I think which Buyan has a great example with some different use case, but he would be explaining in a great detail. So those things will also help us understand about those things from security as well, from compliance perspective as well, because it's Salesforce. Salesforce is built entirely on top of trust and compliance only. That's why it's there. That's why it's number one CRM in the world. So with that, I think I will be moving on to the next slide. And I think that next slide is a great explanation and great visibility on how the businesses would be utilizing different business processes, different agents together to do the work autonomously and let AI do the work. And human comes into the loop when there is actually the need, and which Bjorn will be explaining, in great detail with examples as well that he has. Over to you, Bjorn.
Okay. Thank you, Vijay. So as I kind of talked about it, like as an architect or an IT leader, so we now define the systems in the previous slide. The second question is, obviously, you will have different use cases. We'll get into it. One of the core question is, what's the architecture framework we could leverage, no matter how many agents we build for different use cases? Salesforce has an answer. It's Salesforce well-architected framework. It's very important to follow that as a standard. Now, in a simple way, you could understand that I call this the EAT. I mean, it's 3 layers, right? How easy your solution is going to be, how trusted or secure your solution is going to be, and how adaptable the solution is going to be. That's your 3-layered way, no matter how and what solution you can do about it. Now, let me walk you through maybe 1 or 2 use cases in how to kind of go about architecting the solution. So let's look at the example below of a financial service, a bank, a regional bank, or an enterprise bank, right? Looking at a customer who is looking at a process of applying a loan. Now, in a simple use case like that, every bank, every regional institution has a customer portal. You have a core banking system, which is behind the scenes. You are your CRM Salesforce, which has all the products, the relationship data, and all the contextual data, as well as the compliance and the cases and all that inside in it. So the question comes down to, how do you start architecting that solution? So here, the number one solution aspect of being in a financial service organization, trusted is important, how secure it is. Now, when you talk about security, the key thing is the data access. Does the customer has the right access to the right data, number one. And second, from a compliance standpoint, again, financial service organizations are big in compliance, and we need to keep the data secure. And we also have to look at global standards, right, across Europe and other organizations as well. So as Vijay talked about, there's a couple of products. Now, if you look at the core products, your core data is connected to Salesforce. So that's your integrations through any kind of ETL solution. But is the data encrypted in transit, number one? And then the second piece is, let's talk about inside Salesforce itself. That Salesforce data, it could be banking or summary level of your transactions. As a customer, I just want to find out before I go and apply for a loan, I want to know what my my financial score is. That's a very unique. It's a very secure data, and so the question is, in Salesforce, you store that as PII data. That's number one. That's why it's trusted. And secondly, how easy can the customer access it? Now, this could be a simple chat in the customer portal where they say, I want to know my financial score. It could be my credit score, and how it is easily accessible to me. And I want to show trends in the last 3 years. The question which the customer asks. So that's why it is easy from a communication. It's just human language conversation. So it gets into it. And then the trusted layer gets into place and securely shares the data to you. So once that use case gets into it, the third phase is, okay, you built this agent, which is easy to operate and then expand onto it. Now comes to the second phase. Now the customer says, you know what, I want to apply for a loan. Now, in a typical loan application, there's like 10 steps with going through a couple of forms. Now, can I make that easy to my customer where I just have a simple page where the customer has just simple data at this point, and then they can come tomorrow and fill the next step because they need different sets of data points. So that's where adaptable comes in. How do you make it adaptable? Now that's in the world of Salesforce, again, it's a form, whether you use Omni and all those solutions come into play, but it could be simple as I just page one of your 10-page loan application. I fill that up, customer can just answer questions, they fill that up, and the data is stored as easy as possible. Now that's an easy customer experience. The second piece is how adaptable, or if you want to later expand on, how do you make it easy to maintain, and later down the line for organizations to make changes, right? So that's where different solutions come into place, right? That you build a form-based solution or OmniScript. That's another way to look at it. So that's a simple example of a use case where you could apply the well-architected EAT framework to kind of fit this solution. The last thing I want to leave you with, this world is changing now with agents. So there's going to be a lot of agents. There's going to be customer agents. There's going to be employee agents. There's going to be, each system. Your banking core could have its own agent. The question is, how do you connect all these agents? Secondly, how do you make them secure, right? So there is a layer of orchestration, which you can talk about, which can, again, expand. And the last piece is how do you expose it and make it easy for the customer? So start with the customer channel. Do not think too much into it. Again, sometimes as architects, we over-architect solutions. I would say start with a simple channel. If the customer is at the portal, if the customer is at Slack, start the agent there, build the solution in place. As you expand to 10 agents, then go after a centralized orchestration layer and build on it. That would be the way to think about it. Thank you, Vijay. Over to you.
Yeah, that's a great explanation and a great way to understand it and have a complete clarity on how you can do it, how to build around it. If you're actually building agentic enterprise, you will have to have multiple agents that need to talk to each other. And it need not be that they are all in Salesforce itself only. It's highly possible that one of them, or let's say three of them are running in Salesforce, but your, let's say, KYC one is running on SAP. Or your, let's say, if you are having some kind of due diligence that needs to happen, some underwriting that needs to happen, and you are running it on ServiceNow. So you will need to do that and you need to connect through that. So A2A will be allowing us to do that. And moreover, on top of it, we would be able to have the complete visibility and complete, I would say, trust itself only that we would be able to wire through it. So that's a really great way. One thing I would like to tell to our audience, those who aren't aware what A2A is, so it's an agent-to-agent protocol that allows you to have agents talk to each other. That was released by Google in March 2025. So if you aren't aware about it, or if you don't have that clarity, you can go back into the playlist and you might find a webinar where we did about agent-to-agent integrations and how it works. So you would be able to utilize that. I think that would really work for you. Moreover, you can do your own research. And if you have any more questions, you can either drop into the comment, or maybe you can reach out to me or Bhuyan on the LinkedIn itself only, and we would love to help you out on that particular pieces itself only. So with that said, I think there is one more slide, which is kind of, again, summarizing the entire diagram into the 5 questions that, Bhuyan explained in great detail. So if you can have that on the screen, and then we can move on to the next slide. I'm not sure if they are here. So can we have the diagram for that first? No, the slide that you have for the identity, authority, context, I think I want to showcase that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these 5 points that we have in the slide, so you would be able to, get a complete glimpse of what it is and where it is. So this is how it is going to be. So beyond up till now, the deck is ready. I would say there are a few tweaks that the team needs to do. They need to add some graphics, some pictures, some diagrams at some places up till this slide number. And after this slide number, they are working on it. There are around 5 or 8 slides which are remaining. They would be able to get it completed by either today itself only, and then probably we would be able to view it by tomorrow. I think the team would be sharing it to you over Gmail itself only, or maybe via a spreadsheet, a presentation itself only, or maybe a PDF, and then we can go through it and we can provide our inputs to it. And that way we would be able to expand on that. Few things I think where before moving on to the next slides, I think where I felt where we could do some things. I think A2A directly jumping onto the agent-to-agent architecture, I think we can add one slide in between, right before the, the agentic enterprise architecture, and then the A2A architects EAT scorecard. I think we could add one slide kind of, giving the transition from that enterprise agentic architecture to the, architects EAT scorecard that you have created. How does that sound to you?
I think so, because I know, the big picture is the agentic enterprise. I know, because suddenly you jump into, okay, let's start architecting, right? That's the transition, right?
Yeah, architects might be able to connect with it, but
probably not. There is also other. Yes, I understand.
Maybe just one slide, I think that would be helpful. Yeah.
what we might do, that's good point. What we could do, Vijay, is that, I mean, so there's also a use case thing which I talked about, right? Like I think I talked about three use cases, right? One is the banking use case. I think you guys had that in a slide or something.
Yes,
Maybe
yeah,
somewhere
over here.
there, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this one, right? Now, what we could do is I think this use case, because once you talk about the enterprise, then a slide about the use case. Now you don't need six. We could just pick three of it, right? As three bullet points, right?
Yeah,
You could talk about, I would take two, like let's say fraud detection and loan origination and insurance renewal. That's it, the top three. That's it. If
got it.
that's been a slide, because the question is, okay, now we talked about systems. Now let's talk real. This would be the transition slide where I said, okay, for a bank, fraud and loan origination is important, right? And for an insurance company, policy renewals are important, right? That
Yep.
gives the business context, right? Not too technical, right? And
Yeah,
now let's talk about how we can leverage agents and then get into it. This could be the
yeah, I
transition.
think that's good. That's good. So between the two diagrams, I think we could utilize this slide itself only. So
Exactly.
repurposing it going to be better. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And again, we can just keep it three, not six. Um, the other thing, Vijay, I'm a big believer when we talk on slides, we don't want people to read. Sometimes what happens, too many words, people start reading the slides. They don't listen to
Yeah,
your talking, right? So
that's
keep
correct.
it as bullet points. Let's explain it. Bullet points are fine,
Sure.
or
I
even
think that
one
would be
word, two
better.
word is fine, right? That would be
Yeah.
my take.
So I think, yeah,
And
we can keep only the six ones. And again, those are bullet points itself only. And
just
then we
one,
work
two
with them.
words. Yeah, two words. That's enough. Not too much. And I can explain it. The other thing, Vijay, is that what do I get, right? This is always people will ask, okay, I spent 1 hour
Yes.
on this. What's the value for me? So what I would like to do is, if you go down where you say the agent, keep going down, keep going down. Yeah, this one where the identity authority content, that should be a key takeaway slide. So basically, at the end of the session, because people will take pictures too,
Yeah.
right? So here's the three key takeaways. I mean, you could just keep a slide and I can just put three bullet points. And that's
Got it.
what they would. You could do it at that point, or you could do a teaser and say, hey, because sometimes what people do is they listen to a session and they run away. Sometimes with demos. You want them to do a demo, right? So you could say, wait till the demo. We have a teaser for you, and we would give you a slide which you can walk away with a screenshot for you as a toolkit. We call that a toolkit.
Got it.
So
Yeah, I
that's
think
a way to tease them a little bit to stay on it. Just keep an empty slide. I can give you some guidelines on it and with a bullet point.
sure. I think we can do it like that. We can keep a slide at the end or maybe right before the end so that they can get a complete understanding and they can get some really takeaways from all the discussions that we had done and they would be able to leverage that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think with that, I think I will move on to the next slides that we have. But before
Okay.
that, how do you see the pace is fine, or do you see we are going slow or we are going fast? Given we had taken approximately 30 minutes up till slide 10, I think the phase was
Yeah.
kind of okay. I would say I would not say it was too bad or too good. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I think the pace is okay. Vijay, the challenge has been time management. When you run into a webinar, there is a possibility that this 2 minute discussion can become a 4 minute discussion, right? That's the challenge, right? So the key is that's why I would always try to restrict a webinar to 40 minutes max. That's our content, because keep the 10 minutes because you can run over that 5-10 minutes buffer, right? So for a 40-minute webinar, let's assume that you guys do a 10-minute demo, right? So that's 30 minutes to me. 30 minutes to me is 10 to 12 slides max. The more slides, you have to talk about the slide. You are kind of in a bind because you've shown a slide and you can't just, okay, just get to the next slide. You can't do that, right? Keep
Yeah.
it to 10 to 12 slides. That's my
Yeah.
advice.
I think we will do that. Either we will do that, or either I think we will move the demo piece from entire demo itself only to maybe just I would say
Other slide.
GIFs or some flows, and then we have separate. We had a separate webinar. We could link back to that.
Okay.
I think I will have a
Okay.
discussion to the team, and then maybe we can identify what is the right way to do that, and that way we would
Yeah.
be able to manage it.
No, it's fine. It's again a test bed, right? Again, we're testing this, right? So do not
Yeah,
worry about too much about that.
addressing the main concern that we should not go over the demo should not, the webinar should not become a little bit too much boring itself only. We want to make sure of that. So I think
Yeah.
I will change that, and then I will show it to you. If you have some time tomorrow, maybe I can give you a little bit walkthrough of that, and then we can
Okay.
take it from there. How does that
Okay.
sound? Yeah.
Yep, we can do that, Vijay. So tomorrow, I think I can do 9 to 9:30, because I'm
Sure.
traveling a little bit. Let's just do that, and then we can just kind of quickly walk through this. Um, how many slides are we talking, Vijay, right now? It's like slide 15, right?
See,
Total?
after this, I think there would be four more slides. Three slides are just slides that needs to be there
Okay. So
because we
okay.
provide the deck to our audience. So when they download,
Okay.
we want them to be able to see the
Okay.
references, a thank you slide, and then there is one slide about us being at Dreamforce. The 3, 4 slides
Okay.
are going to take up that much space. So we are looking at approximately 14 slides in general or in
Okay.
specific. So I think
Okay.
if I'm not going to do a demo, I think we will be able to keep it under 40 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, my target is not to keep it 1 hour long itself only to the dot.
Yes.
If it gets completed early, that's good. Everybody else doesn't have any much time, to watch a complete 1 hour video. So if we get completed earlier, that's good. My whole point is we should not be taking it over 1 hour. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
concern.
No, that's exactly it. That sounds good. Yeah.
One more thing I think I had was, so tomorrow we can connect from 9 to 9:30, whatever the
Yeah.
time it is. I think the team can coordinate and we can set up a meeting.
Mm.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine for us. Few things I think on the webinar day itself only, can we connect at least an hour prior to, maybe check the entire
Yeah.
things and the,
Yeah.
the camera angles, the voice and everything, maybe do a
Yeah.
dry live
100%.
session as well. And then we
Yep.
can, move back to the real, I would say, link and real Zoom meeting and all of that so that we are
Okay.
sorted and we have actually made a live webinar. Does
Okay.
this sound okay to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I can.
Yeah, I think we can do that. So I think I will have that both meetings set up and shared across to you as well so that we are aware on what time it is and we can get connected and stay in the right place itself only.
Yep. The other thing is, I know my background looks empty to you, like it's an empty shelf or whatever. So I might have an IGNX background. That's all. I mean, it's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
at
that's
this
fine.
point,
That's fine. Yeah, you can have the IGNX, background. It looks great. I think we have done earlier webinar as well. I think one of them was with Salesforce itself only, maybe MuleSoft. I don't remember. Yeah, we utilize that only because that looks good.
Okay.
It, does the, I would say, branding as well, and let the audience know who you are, and that will also help.
Okay. Okay. No, that's good, man. That's good. Any other questions for me, Vijay?
No, I think I'm pretty much sorted. It looks good. Now only the piece which is left in the, I would say, deck side or maybe the, dry run side is the piece where I have to kind of walk them through with charge on and high level,
Yes.
examples and use cases. And then you can share your inputs and you can ask some questions to me and then I will answer you around them and
Okay.
then we can take it from there. I think we would be
Okay.
able to do it around 40 minutes. That's what I was feeling. But again, we
Okay.
can see the actual timing on the maybe tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow when we do an entire high level dry run. But yeah, I think we
Okay.
will be able to do it within 1 hour mark itself only.
No, that's fine. Again, the questions I might ask you on the charge on side is mostly about the differentiation between your product. I'm not going to name other products. What's your unique differentiation? That's one thing I
Yes.
would ask you. And then the second thing I would ask you about is security side, right? Those are the
Sure.
two questions, at this point. The other thing, Vijay, I'm a kind of guy who goes with a gut feel. Sometimes I come unscripted. Sometimes I might do some quips. Don't worry about it. We'll just kind of do it. Again, I'm not here to harm anybody or anything, but sometimes I do have that habit of going unstructured a little bit, but I don't go out of tangent or something. Okay.
No
Because
issues.
that's what it is.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Again, you can ask questions about the product. You can ask questions about the security and compliance side of things as well. That's really good. Again, we don't want to name any competitors or something like that because then
Understood.
the entire
I want-
webinar, entire effort that we had
Yeah.
done will make it
No,
like
we
it
don't.
was a webinar about ChargeOn and how it was different from others. But that is not the case. We are just talking about how the fintech leaders would be able to utilize AI and all of those things. And then there is a small piece where ChargeOn might be able to help you if you are collecting payments. And here are a few things that it is able to do. That's it, nothing else. We want to keep it completely educational with just some information provided about our application and how it might be beneficial for them. That's it.
Okay. No worries, man. That is good. Again, thank you for
Yeah,
this opportunity. Again, this is the first time, I'm kind of dealing with, folks. I'm very impressed on what you guys been doing. I mean, I follow,
thanks.
I think your leader and also Vijay. I'm very happy that you guys are, I love entrepreneurship. I've been in business for a
Definitely,
long
definitely. The
time
pleasure
now,
is
right?
ours. Yeah. We have been doing this
Right.
for,
So
yeah.
this is something, we as Indians, I mean, we are great. Technically, we are solidly good. The business side of it is a challenge. How do we market ourselves? It's always a challenge because right from the beginning, we've been told we should be humble and we don't need to brag ourselves. And that's how our upbringing is. But here, if you don't show yourself, nobody knows. If you can't talk about yourself, nobody knows, right? That
Yeah.
is always the way I kind of connected with it. Anything, Vijay, which would be of value to you from my side, you can ask me questions. I have still another 5 minutes or so. I'm a firm believer in win-win relationship. I just don't want to come here. I'm going to
No,
present or
definitely,
something.
definitely.
If you have questions, if you want, like, again, I run a consulting company, just to be transparent with you, right? We only do US-based consulting, right? So I ran an offshore company before, just to give you some context, right? 2005 to 10, I had an operation in India, in Chennai. I'm from Chennai, okay? And
Yeah.
now I came out of it. My brother still runs it, full transparency. But then in US, with Igenex, I'm one of the partners, but we do different industries, Vijay. We do a lot in federal and public sector manufacturing, right? Those
That's
are the
great.
key industries we do it. So any
That's great.
question now, is this your first Dreamforce or you guys been to Dreamforce
No,
before?
no, no, I have been to Dreamforce. I think I went for the first time in 2022, and I have been going ever since. This year, we are
Okay,
planning a booth as well for
okay.
Charge On. Again, our
Hmm.
application has been into the market since 2020, and we have been
Okay.
doing, we have been serving our customers here and there. But last year, when we were serving one of our customers, he said, like, your application is really good. I compared it with
Mm,
other, competitors, and it was really great. It was lacking in
mm,
some features, but it was really great in what you said it would be doing. So I think you should,
mhm,
promote it. There are some really good customer base that might be looking for that kind of an application. So that's where we started. And if I talk about
mhm,
ourselves, so we have been into the Salesforce, as I mentioned earlier. Shrey is one of the youngest Salesforce MVP. So we both
yeah.
started. I started with, various other technologies. At that time, it was big data, Python, app development, and all of that. Then I joined him with Salesforce, and we started from there. And that's where our journey has been. We have been serving our
Mm,
customers across US region, Europe region, India region as well. But India is very small, but primarily it's also US and Europe itself only. All of our
mm,
customers are also from, US region, and they are primarily from, I would say, healthcare. They are from education. They are from BFSI as well. And some of them
mm,
are from manufacturing. We have been doing a lot of
mm,
work. A lot of the work that we do typically tends towards, I would say, supporting, organizations like yours who is already established in US and have a US presence. So we are supporting them as well. We do have direct, I would say, customers as well, direct connections as well, where we are serving our projects and clients and all of that. But we help a lot to our, I would say, companies who are based out of US. So we are helping out Salesforce US as well for their development. And, so say Salesforce has Salesforce professional team. So we are serving them as well. Then we are serving Persistent as well, and few more as well. I am not aware about all the names. I primarily stay behind the technical guide. I was a technical curtain I have, and you will always find me
okay.
behind that. I never go into the sales side, so I might not be aware. But maybe Vedant can, connect you with Tanushri or Vaibhav. Vaibhav is our director of sales, and Tanushri is our head of growth and strategy. And then,
Mm,
we can find some synergies. Yeah, you might see some things where we might be able to help you, or you might be able to help us as well. So we can see that. And we are also really excited, to be connecting with you and partnering up with you. When Vedant said, like, we have a ex MVP who wants to be who wants to be on our webinar when we, talk about it. And I was really excited. I was like, yeah, that's really great. We are also looking for, great individuals that can, we can actually connect with, that we can, do things together, whether it's webinar or it's something like that. It's always all about community. And if it's
yeah, yeah.
us helping us out each other, that's good. And, And being an Indian, that kind of, makes really great pride itself only. There is somebody who is into the US serving serving the US customers itself, only having a team as well of 200 plus people. So that really matters a lot. I might be wrong about numbers, but I think I was talking to Vedant and he mentioned he has a team of 200 or 250 plus people. I was like, really, that's great. Going to US and setting up all of that. I myself thought we might be doing it at some point, but it always takes a lot of effort and I would say time as well and all of those things. So I'm really, proud to be, here with the webinar and that the webinar that we will be doing as well. And there might be some other things as well that we can look at where we can, do some things together.
No, thank you, Vijay. Again, as I said, right, again, I like the passion. I mean, I think, Vijay, you come across very, I would say to you, I know you're technically good, but when you present yourself, you're an extrovert. I know sometimes as technical people, we think we are introverts. I mean, that's true. You might think I am an extrovert, but I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert too. So, but when you talk, this is when we present ourselves, we come across naturally. You can't fake yourself. That's
Yeah.
the honest truth, right? So that's one thing. The second thing I will leave you as well. So obviously, from a consulting business and running a product business are two different things. Consulting business is purely about services. Product business is more about churn and revenue, and it has to be looked at separately. The reason I bring this up is that I had a failure when I ran a product for 3-4 years, and I want to share this. Where again, we thought from a consulting standpoint, the product will help to bring more customers. Again, you see big companies do that. At some point, it will. There are two different lines of business. The second thing I would also advise is that, so I'm an angel investor as well. So I do a lot of startup investing, again, in part of the network. The reason I bring that in, you guys should go do some pitching to angel investors, and it will open you up with a different mindset. Because
Yeah.
service business, what we do consulting is totally different. When you go to a product business, the customer, the USP matters. At some point, you can't be for every customer. You can't be for every industry. You got to narrow your focus. You start somewhere, right? You start somewhere and expand, or you don't. That's the point. That's the honest lesson I learned. So that would be my advice. And if that's something, you guys are looking into at some point in your career, happy to make some introductions for you.
Definitely.
I'm happy to share that.
Definitely. I think we will keep that in mind, and maybe we can connect on this particular front after the webinar or somewhere, maybe sometime next month, and then we can take it from there.
Yep. Very good. Thank you, man. Again, for your time. Let's connect tomorrow. And then I think the time is still on Wednesday, that the webinar is still 11 to 12. I think we can connect a bit early. That's what you said, right? Around 10:30 or some 10. I can come a bit early. It's fine. I understand that. Okay. All right. Thank you, man.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
हाँ, अरे आप पहले मेरे को बता के रखोगे तभी तो मैं बोल पाऊँ। क्या क्या करना है बताओ।
थोड़ा सा ना बेस ज्यादा है, तो जब वो बोलते हैं तो प्रोनाउंसिएशन ऑलरेडी एक वो है, बट थोड़ा क्लैरिटी में इशू है हल्का सा।
अगर आप लोग
Sir, all done on my part or am I needed?
क्या क्या कह रहे हो भाई?
मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि am I needed अभी?
नहीं, आई थिंक इट्स फाइन। एक बार उसको अपने वेबिनार के बाद आज ही कनेक्ट करा देना आप। तो एक बार वैभव और तनुश्री के साथ में
तनुश्री, आई गेस तनुश्री इज आउट सिक। वैभव एंड तनुश्री के साथ मैं कल कनेक्ट करवा देता हूँ, या मोस्ट प्रोबेबली तनुश्री के साथ, बिकॉज शी इज इन द स्लैक ग्रुप एज वेल। तो एक बार, या तो मैं सोच रहा था एक बार ये वेबिनार हो जाए, उसके बाद ये वाला एजेंडा मैं पिक कर देता हूँ, वरना फिर उसके लिए मल्टीपल एजेंडास हो जाएंगे, वो भी कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा। तो एक बार वेबिनार अपना स्मूथली निकाल लेते हैं। तनुश्री ने बोला भी था कि अपन इस वाले बिजनेस के लिए कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं, जिसके अंदर अपन रिसोर्स शेयरिंग के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं।
इसके अंदर है ना, एक चीज और क्लियर कर देना, उसको लगा कि अपन प्रोडक्ट कंपनी है या फिर अपन प्रोडक्ट पे फोकस करते हैं। उसको 2 बार लगा, मैंने उसको पहले भी क्लियर करा, कल भी क्लियर करा था, कल या पता नहीं जब भी लास्ट टाइम भी क्लियर करा था। तो उसको ये चीज क्लियर करनी होगी अपन को, भाई ऐसा नहीं है हमारे साथ।
हाँ, डन। ये मैं उसको बता दूंगा नेक्स्ट कनेक्ट।
कल डेक कंप्लीट चाहिए भाई, तुम्हारा आज नहीं था यार, रुको अच्छा नहीं लगता यार। अब वो भाई ने डायग्राम खुद बना दिया यार, अपने पास टीमों के भी, अपन ने करा काम, मना नहीं कर रहा, लेकिन
उन्होंने Salesforce की ही theme follow की है, वो
मैं मना
exact
नहीं कर
diagram
रहा।
is there.
देखो वट एवर इट इज, आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग दैट, वट एवर द वर्क ही डिड, बट वी कुड हैव डन बेटर, दैट्स व्हाट आई फील। क्योंकि देखो इम्पैक्ट जाता है यार सामने वाले पे फिर। तो एक बार आप कंप्लीट करवा देना, आज ही करवाएं, देखो प्लीज कोशिश करो, क्योंकि मेरे फीडबैक भी आएंगे कुछ, अभी मैंने आपको इस वाले में भी दूंगा, 2-4 फीडबैक मेरे को दिख रहे हैं। बाकी
हेडिंग्स मिसिंग है सर, इसलिए आपका फ्लो छूट गया। मतलब जो इमेज की सर की हेडिंग थी ना, उसके ऊपर हमारी अलग हेडिंग है जिससे वो फ्लो कनेक्ट हो रहा है। यू टॉक्ड अबाउट एजेंट्स, देन यू टॉक्ड अबाउट रीइंफोर्स, एजेंटिक एंटरप्राइजिंग, आ बात हुई। फिर तुरंत हम लोग आ रहे थे यूज केसेस पे, कि हम लोग फाइनेंशियल यूज केसेस की जगह पहले उनके ब्रॉड यूज केसेस डिस्कस कर रहे थे।
ठीक है,
अंडरस्टैंड? केवल हम लोग उतना सेंटर नहीं रख रहे थे, उसके बाद में
आप एक बार डेक मेरे को दिखा देना। अब उसने जो चेंज बोला वो तो करना पड़ेगा,
वो कर
है ना,
देंगे।
वो कर देना। और इसके अलावा एक चीज और थी, स्पीड मेरे हिसाब से सही चल रही है, मैं डेमो वेमो रखने के फेवर में नहीं हूँ इसके अंदर।
So आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा कब डेमो हो जाएगा. It is just for our viewers. When you talk about charge on, we will have a video on the side playing. जो इंटरेस्टेड हैं, जो वो ऑडियंस है, वो अपने आप उस चीज को देख लेंगे कि what is he talking about. Something is happening on
ठीक
the
है,
side. You only have to say once हम आपको बोल देंगे कि वीडियो चल रही है, आप बोल दीजिएगा कि you can also say it on your screen. You just have to say that and explain charge on, कि जो charge on कर रहा है वो दिखा.
ठीक है।
It will not take time अलग से. We are not making a dedicated slide.
आई नो, आई नो, अपन नहीं कर रहे। बाकी तो ठीक है।
सर एक चीज पूछनी थी, क्या हम ये डेक थोड़ा सा जल्दी प्रैप अप करवा सकते हैं, क्योंकि इसको भी क्या टाइम चाहिए होता है देखने करने के लिए, अभी भी उसके 8 साढ़े 8 बज रहे हैं। आई एम अनेबल टू हियर यू। ओके ओके ओके। ओके ठीक, ठीक है, डन, ओके।